Rio awakens in a state of confusion and illness, lacking knowledge of his identity and origins. Fragmented memories from his past life mix with his current existence. A group of men residing with him compels him to take a shower. Outside, he encounters a royal girl group searching for the kingdom's princess. Celia, one of the girls, employs her magic to detect the princess and discovers Rio's latent magical potential. In gratitude for his assistance, she presents him with a bag of silver coins. Upon returning to the house, the men face an assault by an unidentified assassin, who also targets Rio. Miraculously, the bag of coins shields him from harm. In his mind, a mysterious woman instructs Rio to utilize his magic to enhance his senses and physical capabilities. Following her guidance, he defeats the assassin. Realizing the men have kidnapped the princess, Rio resolves to rescue her and return her to the castle. On his journey, he encounters Celia and the others who accuse him of being the kidnapper. Rio is taken to the castle, where he endures torture for a crime he did not commit. Princess Flora intervenes, ordering his release and apologizing for the misunderstanding. Celia employs her magic to heal his wounds and prepares him for an audience with the king. In recognition of his valor in saving the princess, the king offers Rio a scholarship to attend Enroll primary school. Celia offers to tutor Rio after class, warning him about potential challenges in the beginning. Despite facing hostility from noble students who look down on him, Rio remains focused on his studies and ignores their disdain. After class, Rio helps Celia clean her research lab and discovers she is a young professor. They practice arithmetic together, and Celia is impressed by Rio's intelligence. Rio recalls his past life as a college student, explaining his skills. During a training session, Rio displays martial arts techniques from his previous life, astonishing his teacher and fellow students. He receives an offer to become a knight but declines, surprising everyone who views it as a great opportunity. Rio experiences flashbacks from his past life, remembering his childhood friend Ayase Miharu. They were separated as children, reunited in college, and then separated again. Despite accusations of cheating by other students after acing his exams, Rio receives support from Celia and Princess Flora. Celia congratulates Rio on his achievements and warns him about potential sabotage from the nobles. Rio expresses his fearlessness as long as he has Celia as his friend. 5 years pass, and Rio is chosen to participate in a knight's exhibition tournament along with 3 others. He informs Celia that he plans to embark on a journey to his homeland after graduation, a place his late mother often mentioned. During the tournament, Rio confronts and defeats the man who had tormented him 5 years prior, utilizing his swordsmanship from his past life. The defeated man reveals information about Rio to someone who shows an interest. The next day, Celia tries to congratulate Rio, but is heartbroken when she sees him with another girl. Celia uses her magic to silence the students who mock Rio for not having magic. She teaches him that he can cast magic by imitating the flow of magical power. After class, a student accuses Rio of seducing all the girls in the school, and Celia defends him. Flora witnesses the scene and feels sorry for him. During a trading session in the forest, Rio is assigned to carry everyone's equipment. They encounter some monsters, but they are easy to handle. They reach a dead end and are attacked by stronger monsters. Flora is accidentally pushed off a cliff, but Rio saves her and falls instead. The class manages to defeat the monster. Rio survives the fall and wonders if his lack of injuries will make them suspicious of him, since he doesn't know the extent of his power. The students argue about who is responsible for Flora's fall and blame Rio, but Flora stands up for him and offers to look for him alone. A powerful monster appears and overwhelms them. The monster tries to attack Flora while she is healing a student, but Rio shows up and cuts off his arm. Rio fights the monster until he finds an opening and cuts off its head. He then runs away into the woods. A mysterious man notices that Rio is the descendant of people who came from the Yagumo region. Back at the school, Celia overhears some elders talking about Rio's disappearance. Rio shows up at Celia's lab to say goodbye to her and promises to write letters to her while on his journey to Yagumo. He changes his name to Haruto. Rio arrives in Amand and writes a letter to Celia about his experiences. He feels like someone is following him. He finds a noodle stand, and the taste reminds him of his past life. He enjoys the exotic food in Amand and buys some dry pasta for the road. He sends the letter to Celia. On his journey, he meets a beast girl who poisons him with a dart and tries to kill him. Rio uses his magic to stop the poison and fights back, but she is fast and skilled with her weapons. He manages to subdue her. He uses his magic to calm her down and notices a slave collar on her neck. He removes it and realizes that she is from his past life before he had an accident. She also had an accident and woke up in a new body, where she was tortured and enslaved. He offers her freedom, but she begs to stay with him. He learns that Stuart, a student from the school, was the one who enslaved her. He doesn't trust her, but he agrees to let her come with him. They spend time together and get along well. Her name is Latifa. Celia receives Ryo's letter and wonders if he is okay. Ryo and Latifa share the same interest in food. In her sleep, Latifa mentions Tokyo, and Ryo hears her. When she wakes up, she asks him if she can call him Oni-chan, and he accepts. Close to their destination, Ryo and Latifa set up camp for the night but were attacked by demigods who mistook Ryo for a murderer. Using his magic, Ryo helped Latifa sleep peacefully. Yuzuma, a demigod, attacked and injured Ryo despite his claims of innocence. Knocked unconscious, Ryo encountered the woman connected to his magic, but he woke up before she could reveal more. Ryo surprised the watching demigods. Latifa and an elder demigod entered, apologizing for Yuzuma's actions. The next day, the Council of Elders apologized to Ryo and offered him anything as a gesture of goodwill. Ryo requested that they care for Latifa. During the council meeting, Lady Dryas, the spirit of the world tree, arrived. She sensed a spirit within Ryo and questioned if he had formed a covenant with it, which explained his inability to use magic. Lady Dryas discovered that the spirit within Ryo was of the highest order, similar to herself. In light of this revelation, the elders suggested treating Ryo as a saint. Throughout the day, Ryo and Latifa familiarized themselves with demigod culture as the rest of the demigods introduced them to their homes. Meanwhile, Reese, who had shown interest in Ryo, stole a monster egg with plans to bring destruction upon the village where Ryo resided. After a year in the village, Ryo and Latifa are accepted as part of the community by the council and Lady Dryas. Their bond with the demigods has strengthened, considering each other family. Reese and his companion camp in the forest, hoping to lure the mother of the stolen egg. Ryo musters the courage to inform Latifa that he will leave soon, unable to take her along. Distraught, Latifa runs away. Sensing a disturbance, the council sends the demigods to investigate. Meanwhile, Reese returns to the cave to collect more eggs while the monsters are away. The demigods encounter Reese's accomplice, who flees when questioned about the egg. He heads towards the village as instructed by Reese. Realizing the egg belongs to a wyvern flock, the demigods send a warning to the council while attempting to stop the wyverns. Reese kills his accomplice using a previously given germ. The egg falls and shatters on Latifa's path. Mistakenly, a wyvern attacks her, believing she caused the damage. As the village evacuates, Ryo learns of the situation and returns to the forest to find Latifa. Two demigods attempt to fend off the wyvern, but are outmatched. Latifa buys time as Ryo arrives just in the nick of time to save her. Ryo defeats the wyvern with his immense strength, shocking the other demigods and causing the remaining wyverns to retreat. The following day, Latifa apologizes for her previous actions. Ryo forgives her and agrees to call her his little sister. They disclose their reincarnated pasts as Japanese humans. Ryo shares his reason for going to the Yagumo region. Later, Ryo bids farewell and receives gifts from the council, representing each tribe's significance.
Before starting the rest of the video, I want to tell you all about Fandomian. It is a website with items ranging from plushies to shoes, phone cases, backpack, lamps, and some of the most fire anime merch, with animes ranging from Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Dragon Ball, Naruto, and even stuff like hentai, K-pop, Genshin Impact and many more. So what are you waiting for? Go check out the website from the link in the description or pinned comment and get yourself or your loved ones some amazing presents and use code AFS for 10% off of every order. Now back to the video.
Ryo, who is searching for his parents, arrives in the Yagumo region where he meets Yuba, the head of the village, and learns that she is his grandmother. Yuba asks Ryo to stay with her and Ruri, her cousin, and he agrees. The following day, Ryo goes hunting with Shin and Seo, and he ends up impressing them with his skills. This makes Shin jealous. Ryo also uses his magic to create a bathroom, which shocks Ruri and Seo. Later that day, Yuba asks Ryo to safeguard the transportation of the year's harvest to the royal capital after the annual tribute, and he agrees. Meanwhile, some men from the neighboring village try to assault Ruri and her friends. Shin intervenes but ends up being beaten. Yuba comes to resolve the issue and offers the men a place to stay for the night, since they had problems with their cart. Later that night, Ryo gives the girls some charm to protect them. Meanwhile, the men plot a plan, and it seems they have another motive for their stay. Ryo agrees, and he trains with the girls in preparation. The next day, the tax examiner arrives and inspects the village's harvest. Ryo learns that the bandits plan to attack the village. He comes to the girls' rescue and beats the bandits to the point of death. However, Yuba stops him from killing them. The men were apprehended with the help of the tax examiner. Yuba sent a letter to Lord Guki through the villagers, and Ryo and Seo headed to the royal capital. They arrived several days later and explored the capital. Ryo bought Seo a pin as a gift. He also saved some women who were being assaulted at the market. Lord Guki received Yuba's letter and requested to meet Ryo. It turned out that Ryo was related to them through his mother. Ryo's father was a guard who fell in love with Ryo's mother. They ran away together when Ryo's mother's life was threatened by the neighboring kingdom. The next day, Ryo met with the royal family. They welcomed him as their grandchild and listened to his story. Ryo told them about his mother's death and how he had survived all these years. He also told them that he wanted revenge on Lucia, the man who killed his mother. The royal family offered to train Ryo with Lord Guki. Ryo agreed, and he won the training match, surprising everyone. Back at the village, Ruri is shocked to find out that she is cousins with royalty. Ryo agrees to call her by a familiar name as cousins. He also reveals that he will be leaving the village next year. The next day, he goes around greeting everyone in the village since his return. Days go by as Ryo helps with the village's errands. Ryo breaks the news of his departure to Seo, who is crushed by the news. Later that day, Shin finds Seo crying upon hearing the news of Ryo leaving, and it doesn't sit well with him either. Shin begs Ryo to stay for the sake of his sister, but he doesn't receive a proper response. Days go by, and they struggle to accept the news. Seo trains to improve her spiritual power. During the day of the harvest, Seo finally admits to Ryo that she has feelings for him, and that she has been training so that she won't slow him down. However, Ryo doesn't feel the same way. The next day, Ryo sets off on his journey early in the morning. He runs into Seo, who has been waiting to bid him farewell. After saying goodbye, he heads off to the forest and is welcomed by Latifa, who is happy to see him. Ryo meets with the council and tells them about his experiences and his royal lineage. Back at his house, the demigods are thrilled to see Ryo after a long time. They catch up on life, and Ryo compliments them on how they have all grown to beautiful young ladies. Ryo encounters a spirit who claims to be his bonded spirit. While the spirit has no recollection of its past, Ryo remembers Lady Dryas mentioning a dormant spirit within him. Ryo names the spirit Asia. Asia is presented to the council, astonishing them with her status as an all-around type spirit skilled in all spirit arts elements which they have never encountered before. The following day, Asia engages in a battle with Ryo to showcase her immense strength until Lady Dryas intervenes to prevent escalation. The council welcomes Asia into the village and Lady Dryas educates her about spirits. Before departing, Ryo converses with Latifa, who discloses her former name as Endo Susan from Japan, while Ryo reveals his name as Amakawa Haruto. They realize they were on the same bus that crashed. Ryo receives a teleportation device as a gift and embarks on a journey to find Celia. Ryo and Asia have arrived in the royal capital of Bertram, where Celia is getting married to Lord Charles of the House of Duke Arbor. They learn that the kingdom has suffered a defeat by the Proxy Empire, and Duke Arbor has rallied their momentum by marrying into the house of Count Clare. Celia explains that she did not give her consent to get married. She asks Ryo to leave as her servants will be back and requests that he not attend the wedding. Meanwhile, Lord Charles meets with Lord Rhys, who insists that due to the kingdom's tension, it would be best if they are not seen together. In the middle of their conversation, Rhys senses a nearby spirit, but then it disappears. The next day, Celia is visited by Princess Christina, who offers her congratulations on her wedding. Christina expresses gratitude to Celia for helping her escape from the palace to attend the wedding. Lord Charles meets with Alfred, the head of security for the wedding ceremony. Charles asserts his authority over the security and instructs Alfred to obey him. During the wedding, Ryo swiftly incapacitated the guards despite their numbers and enchantments capturing Celia. Count Clare panicked, and the Duke of Arbor grew furious. Ryo communicated telepathically with Celia, urging her to calm down. He questioned the sincerity of their marriage knowing the Duke's involvement. Expressing his feelings, Ryo proposed escaping together, seeking Celia's true happiness and clearing her father's name. Ryo eluded the troops, skillfully blocking their attacks. Rhys launched a powerful magic assault, but Ryo defended himself and managed to escape. Alfred and Vanessa inquired about the thief's identity, suspecting a grievance with Lord Charles. A chase ensued as Ryo and Celia evaded the pursuing soldiers, with Ryo acting as a decoy. Reinforcements were called, and Alfred engaged Ryo in battle, who chose not to fight back. Alfred attacked fiercely, but Ryo suspected his intent to allow his escape. Asia and Celia rendezvoused with Ryo after his successful escape, expressing their gratitude. Asia warned of impending danger and pledged to protect Celia, urging Ryo to save others.